Morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Martin Luther King Day here in the United States. And this is Bill with WWP Reacts. I'm a retired United States Army officer. I served for 34 years as an enlisted person, an NCO, and then as an officer for about 20 of those years. And I want to continue my discussions on the Russian Ukraine war, as you see on the screen here, and we're gonna take it from an approach of not looking at videos and seeing dead bodies and FPV drones hitting. This series is about talking about what's happened day to day, strategically and tactically on the ground with Russian advances or trying to advance, and or Ukrainian counter advances. Excuse me. Anyhow, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a methodical approach to this daily. And if you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe. And wait to the end, because we'll tie this all back together as to what is happening day to day in the war. So we're going to always talk about the supporting effort on the northern axis, the Sumy area. And then, of course, the main effort, right, is eastern Ukraine for Russia. So they have subordinate efforts. Subordinate effort one, that means it's the most important subordinate main effort. Subordinate effort number two and number three captured Donetsk and Luhansk provinces. So this Kharkiv operations is the first one. And then another supporting effort is on the southern axis. So not as important as Russia sees this area, if I could draw a circle around that. So we're going to get into each one. But before we do that, I want to get into the major takeaways of what is in the headlines from yesterday in Russia. And I'm going to look at my notes here. So Russia has been prepping for long-range strikes at substations and stopping nuclear power plants that are needed to make electricity in Ukraine. There has been air raids at 50 nuclear sites in the last week. This is huge because Ukraine, according to President Zelensky, needs 18 gigawatts of power to maintain electricity in the winter. They are only getting 11 now. And if Russia continues this into hitting these substations, that's going to deplete that even more. They launched, just over the weekend, they launched 201 Shahid, I think I'm saying it right. Those are the big drones with the wings and everything. They can go real far, type drones from many locations in Russia, particularly in this area, the east area, and actually even from inside occupied Donetsk. 201 drones in the last weekend into Ukraine and stations all around, nuclear substations. 30 of those drones hit 15 locations in the Kharkiv and Zaporizhia and Odessa Oblast. So Odessa, Zaporizhia, and Kharkiv over here. So that's huge. Now, the mayor of Kiev, right, Vitali, there, the guy that used to be a fighter, said that they only have half the electricity they need in the winter. He's encouraging Ukrainian Kiev residents to leave if they can. Go someplace else because we don't have electricity for you. So what does Ukraine need? Urgently, they need air defense systems. So that's the key takeaways from the news yesterday. Now let's move on now, and let's go and talk about the northern first the support in the north. Uh, yeah, so this is our first supporting the northern axis, and let's look at what's happened here and what the key takeaways are. So Russia's been trying to advance here, but they didn't make any advance yesterday, really. Uh, they attacked Kursk and Sumy Oblast, including the north of Sumy City, Adravika, and but they didn't make much. They didn't make any progress. Uh, so that's what's going on. Not a lot happening there. It's kind of a stalemate. If you recall, Ukraine had moved into the Kursk Oblast. It looks like that's all backed off now, right? We've known that for a while. That's happened over the summer or last spring. All right, so now let's move into the main effort. So the main effort is Eastern Ukraine, and I was mentioning before that the number one subordinate effort is control of the terrain in the Kharkiv Oblast. Now, unconfirmed claims. A Russian mill blogger claimed that Russian forces advanced into Centrohavsky and Semivka, both northeast of the city Kiev. Those are unconfirmed Russian mill bloggers. Um, Russian mill blogger claimed on January 18th that the Russian forces are using fixed-wing mothership drones to extend the range of first-person view FPV strike drones beyond Kharkiv city to almost 50 kilometers from the front line. So that's an interesting thing. Um, so here the effort is to cross. This is their objective for this subordinate main effort, to cross the Oskal River, which is this river right here, from Russia in the Kharkiv Oblast and push westward into eastern Kharkiv Oblast and northern Donetsk Oblast. Okay, so that's what they're trying to do in this Russian main effort. And on main effort number one, the Kharkiv Oblast, the Russian objective is to push Ukrainian forces back from the international border to create a defensible buffer zone within the Belgorod Oblast and approach within tube artillery range of Kharkiv city. So they want to move in to get to here. Now this blue area is all the Ukrainian counteroffensive. So Russia hasn't been able to do that. They did not make confirmed advances in this eastern Ukraine main effort number one, subordinate main effort number one. Subordinate main effort number two is crossing the Oskal River. They didn't make any progress on that on the 16th either. Russian forces continue offensive operations in the Kupiansk direction, this area here, but did not advance. Subordinate effort number three. So let's move now to the map of the Donetsk Oblast, because this is a subordinate main effort number three, and the objective here is to capture the entirety of the Donetsk Oblast, the claimed territory of Russia's proxies in Donbass, and advance into the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast over here. So the Donetsk Oblast goes all the way up to here. They want to capture all that. When this war started, this is what they had 4 years ago. And they pushed up. All these red lines, by the way, are defensive areas or trenches or fortifications. Okay, so what happened yesterday in this area to move that ball forward? Well, not a lot. They have made efforts to they've made efforts in the Provosk area. They've tried to do that. They're trying to go after the partisans that are down here. Haven't made a lot of progress, as you can see from the map yesterday. This is a Ukrainian counterinsurgency. There's another one here, but not a lot has happened in this area. Now, there's been significant fighting in this area, but not a lot of progress. Let's dive into I was talking about the Provosket area, and we talked about this yesterday, the city Provosket, they've taken it, but this area of yellow is all claimed, Russian claimed, owned. That doesn't mean it is. They're claiming it is. This is area where Russia is really making some inroads, where you see the stripes. But we see Ukraine having some counteroffensives here and here, pushing inwards and breaking that up. Okay, so that's a major thing that's happening. Okay, now let me bring this over so we can talk about what's called the Fortress Belt and what's going on here. So this is eastern Ukraine still, right? If you look at the map, it's right here. It's a little bit there. This is the area they want to take, right? This is Donetsk Oblast, right here. And all these cities are in the Donetsk Oblast. And they want to take all that so then they can concentrate on this Oblast over here. So what's happened in this area in the last couple days? There's been some movement in the Ukrainian forces recently retained positions and or advanced in the Sloviansk direction, so that's a good news. So they're pushing this way. As you can see, the counteroffensive is there. And then if we go back, we can look at the entirety of the map. So where is it? And see where the major fight has been. So bottom line, not a lot is going on as far as movement either way. But the key takeaway today is the Shahed drones going in and going after nuclear substations. Now people are still getting killed on both sides, big time. I'm going to talk tomorrow about, is Russia prepared? Do they have the capability, if there's not peace, which, oh, by the way, Medvedev, the guy that Putin was going to put into power in February 2022, once they took out Zelensky, said that there will be no peace in 2026. And that this isn't about Russia going away. This is about Russia has the space. They have the time. They can do it. So it's going to be a very interesting period. And, we'll see what happens. But, have a fantastic day. And come back tomorrow if you want to hear more what happens on the 19th. Have a great day. Bye-bye.